Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tesla stock today is up about 2.5%. Here in this video, I will share with you what's going on, all of your breaking news for Tesla, what's happening in broader markets today. There is a very strange but bullish kind of correlation. Small caps are outperforming today. Risk on areas are outperforming, whereas risk off areas are not exactly doing as great. That's one reason to explain why Tesla stock is up 2.5% today. But there is some Tesla stock news that we must also get into. Lots of comments from Trump and cabinet officials. So yeah, the tariff talk is hot today. There's a lot that is changing. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. If you guys also want to come trade with us live in real time as well, check out that link down below in the description of this video, where we are finding these small cap winners within mainly the AI space, but also the biopharma space as well, with specific opportunities. Today is a big day for that portfolio. Let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, Tesla bull Adam Jonas warns investors may need to brace for more distractions. He says in a note on Tuesday, quote, "We believe investors should be prepared for further devotion of resources, both financial, time, and attention, in the direction of Mr. Musk's political priorities, which may add further near-term pressure on Tesla shares." He described Musk's recent political activity as part of a planned strategy to achieve a specific goal, and noted it was designed to bring maximum public attention to a range of issues. Despite the political headlines, Tesla's second quarter vehicle deliveries came in roughly in line with Morgan Stanley's estimates at 384,000, beating what Jonas called a low buy-side bar of 350 to 360,000. He says, quote, "Tesla has 125,665 employees worldwide, year-end 2024 numbers. On our calculations, a 10% substitution to humanoids at approximately 200,000 per humanoid robot could be worth approximately $2.5 billion, he wrote, adding that similar opportunities exist for legacy automakers like GM. The note also flagged that Tesla's energy storage deployments were flat year over year at 9.6 gigawatt hours, missing Morgan Stanley's estimate of 14 gigawatt hours. With earnings due July 23rd, Jonas expects Tesla to highlight its robotaxi roadmap and possibly hold an AI day in the fall to recruit applied AI and robotics talent. That's important. He thinks that Tesla will highlight their robotaxi roadmap. That is the only thing that matters to Tesla stock at this point. To a lesser extent, the Model 2 also matters. Is that coming? When is that coming? How many, what's the scalability going to look like of the Model 2? But it's really all about what's the scalability going to look like of the robotaxi. How many robotaxis are we going to have out on the road next year? And then 2027. Okay, that's what Tesla stock is going to trade based off of. And right now, we just don't have clarity on that. And that's why I think Tesla, albeit has been very volatile, is back above $300 per share today. So that's a good sign. Dan Ives today reiterates that Tesla is, quote, a buy, and gives the stock a $500 price target. Tesla's insurance registration numbers for last week came in at 5,000, which is actually kind of a strong number. This tends to be a very weak week for Tesla in China every single year. Last year, you had 6,500 registrations. The year before, you had 3,200. The year before that, you had 162. So like 5,000 is actually a pretty good number relative to what you've seen in prior years. Kathy Wood says today that Elon Musk will get the job done for Tesla shareholders and that she remains bullish. We have more Tesla stock news to go over in just a few moments, but let's get into all of your broader market headlines today and what's going on in markets. Trump says that if we lose the US as the standard dollar, referring to the reserve currency status, it is like losing a war, and he says America would never be the same again. He says, basically, that will never happen as long as you have a competent president in office. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu/Trump meeting has been brought forward to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, which they could be announcing some kind of Gaza deal. I'm not sure. I wouldn't think that would move markets at this point, but anything's possible. Trump has said that he is thinking of a federal takeover of the governance of Washington, D.C. He also says the same thing could happen with New York City, that they would never let a socialist/communist run that city. Trump says, quote, "We may need to straighten out New York City." Trump also reiterates today that Powell should resign. Donald Trump says that they will be announcing semiconductor tariffs. We will also consider a 200% tariff on pharma. Now, what some of these headlines left out is Donald Trump is saying, hey, we're going to give pharma semiconductor companies time to reallocate to America before these theoretical tariffs would go into effect. He said something like a year or two. So this is not something that is like imminent. Okay. We may hear the headlines, which we did today, but it doesn't look like any kind of crazy high tariff on pharma or semiconductors is coming at least anytime soon. Donald Trump says today he thinks Elon Musk's new party will help him or help the Republicans. He says, quote, "I think Musk's political party will help us. Third parties have always been good for me." That could be potentially why Tesla stock is going up today, again, around 2.5%, because Trump didn't exactly take a full-on attack on Elon Musk. He says, we really don't care about a third party, that it, if anything, could help Republicans. So kind of seen as de-escalatory in a way. Trump says he believes copper tariffs will be 50%. He again says that we will announce pharma and chips and other tariffs soon. But again, the time between announcing the tariffs and when they actually go into effect is going to take a while. And here you can see that actual headline. It says, quote, "I will be announcing soon on pharma. I will give a year and a half to come in on pharma. Threatens a 200% tariff on pharma." So it's not like an imminent concern. Donald Trump says we're getting along with China's President Xi very well, and we speak often. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Rollins says an executive order is coming related to China owning U.S. farms. Trump says that China has been very fair on our trade deal, and that's important because China is really the one country that matters most. Okay? Like Wall Street can sell off on Japanese or, South Korean tariff rates. That really doesn't matter. It's China. China caused the 20% crash, right? China always is the one that matters. And technically the deal is not signed between the US and China. So there can be changes. There can be, different things that are happening, but it sounds like we are very much moving in the right direction on China, and that the framework of the US-China trade deal is probably going to hold. Trump says we have had a very good relationship with China lately. Donald Trump says Congress should investigate Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Trump says that he is too late. He's always late, but he wasn't late with Biden before the election. He was cutting rates like crazy. Donald Trump says we're leading China a lot in AI. Trump says that wind is very expensive and bad for plains and valleys. Trump reiterates that he is allowing AI plants to become a utility. Donald Trump says he could go higher with tariffs and that he could have been much harsher on trade. One of the negative headlines that hit today during this press conference with Trump says the EU has been speaking to us. EU is treating us very nicely. We're probably 2 days off from sending the EU a letter. Now, Trump kind of tried to explain this, and let me explain it because Trump didn't explain it very well. Trump was basically saying that, hey, we sent out these letters. That's what countries are going to have to pay if they do not negotiate. Okay? And some countries, they're so small or there's not a lot of trade that there's not really much to negotiate in the first place. But, Japan, South Korea, some of maybe other countries, Europe, if they get a letter, that's like the worst case scenario. Okay? If they want to negotiate, then it'll go lower, is basically what I got out of these comments. Donald Trump says that some letters are at a 60 or 70% rate. Trump says that BRICS was created to degenerate our dollar. If they are a member of BRICS, they will have to pay another 10% tariff. Trump says the EU has been speaking to us. EC Press von der Leyen has been very nice recently, but they've treated us badly until recently. Trump says if people want to challenge the dollar, they'll pay a price, a heavy price. Trump says it's too time consuming to make deals. We can do things over the years. We're not hardlined. So basically saying that we might have trade negotiations for a long time. Trump on the economy says that everything is evening out. Trump says that South Korea went crazy over asking to pay for defense. Trump says that we get a lot of bullshit from Putin. Bank of America said today that autonomous cars are having their ChatGPT moment. Now, in the news today for Tesla, Dan Ives says that Tesla's board of directors should take the following 3 steps in our view. Number 1, a new pay package getting Musk to 25% voting control clears a path for an XAI merger. Number 2, guardrails established for the amount of time Musk spends at Tesla as part of a pay package. And number 3, oversight on political endeavors. Elon Musk comments and says, "Shut up, Dan." And it looks like Elon Musk today is open to doing another Joe Rogan podcast. Tesla has updated the homepage of its US website in huge letters saying $7,500 federal tax credit ending. Honda has reportedly scrapped plans to develop a large electric SUV due to declining demand for electric vehicles in the United States and the pullback of federal incentives. Rivian has officially unveiled the 2026 quad-motor launch edition R1S and R1T. You could see the specs here, but look at these starting prices. $126,000 for the R1S and $120,000 for the R1T. They do have over 1,000 horsepower, so I mean, that sounds good and all, but that price tag, I mean, good luck selling a bunch of those. Ford said today that they believe their new $3 billion Michigan electric vehicle LFP battery plant, which is 60% complete, will qualify for production tax credits after the final version of Trump's big beautiful bill that passed revised the rules. This is despite the plant using technology from Chinese battery giant CATL. This is a good sign that Tesla's own upcoming LFP battery manufacturing plant in Nevada, which also reportedly uses equipment from CATL, will be eligible to receive manufacturing credits, potentially over $400 million a year at this new facility. Like Tesla's other U.S. battery facilities have in recent years, $35 per kilowatt hour for battery cells, plus $10 per kilowatt hour for modules. A senior staff engineer at Tesla, specifically working on AI, says it's kind of strange people who demanded how much time Elon should work has only worked a fraction of their lives when Elon is literally working like a dog 24/7 a day and 365 days a year, and not in a comfortable office chair either. Your office chair is likely much more fancier than his. He also says his hourly rate is actually below minimum wage. Now, Waymo's first self-driving taxis arrived in New York City this week to begin collecting data with a human behind the wheel as the company seeks a permit for autonomous testing. New York state law requires a vehicle operator to be present while autonomous technology is in use, meaning Waymo won't be able to offer a robotaxi service in the city that's comparable to its operations elsewhere. Waymo is advocating for changes in state law, a company spokesman said. Now, also in the news, U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says, I expect 15 to 20 trade letters to go out over the next 2 days. Lutnick says if countries are good to us, they may get another rate. And Lutnick says the EU are indicating they will open markets. Trump has EU offers on his desk and is deciding how to play. Now, option activity today for Tesla stock is coming in pretty good from hedge funds and institutions. You have 93 different trades totaling $111 million with a positive order value of 65%. Volume today is 55.7% calls and 44.3% puts. So pretty good. Not super great, but definitely not bad at all. You do have 465,000 shares today that have been covered on, so that looks pretty good as well. Short sellers are taking this opportunity to get out of short positions. They don't want to be as short in Tesla. today following the move higher we're seeing, which makes a lot of sense because Tesla's breaking back above $300 per share. And we're just weeks away from Tesla's earnings, which is going to be the next big catalyst to send Tesla stock higher. Like, none of this other stuff matters. Once we get to Tesla earnings, it's all about scalability of robotaxi, and it's all about the Model 2. When is that coming? How are both of these things going to scale? That's what Wall Street really, wants clarity on and details on. Now, short interest of free float sitting at 2.68%. You have $22.1 billion sold short in Tesla, totaling about 75.2 million shares that are sold short. So there is a lot of dry powder on the sidelines in terms of shares short sellers could cover and send the stock higher. But I don't think we're going to get a huge rally until we get Tesla earnings. I think we really need to get that out the way. Once we do, then we see a larger rally. The CNN Fear and Greed Index today is coming in at 76 in the low side of extreme greed. Market momentum is greed, stock price strength, extreme greed, stock price breadth, extreme greed, put and call options, extreme greed, market volatility is neutral, safe haven demand in greed, and junk bond demand in extreme greed. The AI Investor Sentiment Survey last Thursday came in 45% bullish, 21.9% neutral, and 33.1% bearish. We're going to get a new survey coming out on Thursday, which I'm sure you're going to see these numbers come back closer to a kind of one-to-one parity, because I don't think there's that many bulls out there. I think people are still pretty bearish. They're pretty skeptical on this market still, and I think you're going to see that coming on Thursday. Now, the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average today at 73.11%, up 1.89% today. So looks pretty good. Still room to move higher here, but stocks have generally been strong for a while, and yesterday was a good little reset, if you will. Now, look at what's happening if you just look at the broader markets, okay? The Dow is down 0.25%. Like I said, more safety areas not doing as well. Look at the Russell 2000, up 1% today. The VIX, that's the superstar, down 6.3%. The VIX, down 6.3%. That's wild. All of this happening at the same time, 10-year Treasury yields are up about 2.5 basis points. So there's just generally a risk on appetite in markets right now. That's kind of what I get out of today. And honestly, again, for Tesla, getting above $300 per share, that's great from a psychological perspective. 300 really it wasn't really significant from a technical perspective, but from a psychological perspective, getting above 300 is definitely moving in the right direction. And we'll see between now and around July 20th, before we have Tesla earnings. I don't really care what happens to Tesla. I hope the stock sells off, because I think there's going to be a really good upside trade following Tesla earnings. But hey, we could see the stock do well heading into Tesla earnings. Also, doesn't happen as often. Normally the stock kind of sells off, comes under pressure before Tesla earnings, but anything can happen. So let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.